Good morning. Welcome to today's webinar, Microsoft Excel Basics for Business. My name is John Hovey, and I'm here from North Metro Small Business Development Center. Our mission is to help existing and new small businesses to grow and prosper. And we do that with free one-on-one consulting. We also do that with free and low-cost education programs like this one today. I'm here with Scott Allen. He is an experienced educator. He's currently with Pinnacle High School, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And has a stellar teaching history, also as a corporate educator, and just really been teaching a lot of people for a long time. We're really happy to have Scott here today for this class. Thank you for taking the time out to join today. What we're going to do is we have right now disabled your webcams and microphones so that the webinar can get off to a smooth start, but we do want you to participate and either play along and use the handout that I emailed to you yesterday. We can also download it on the right side of your screen in the handouts portion of your GoToWebinar control panel. You can use that file. We'll be using some examples and exercises as we go along today. You can also type in questions, and in a minute, if I'm able to do it, I'm going to try to give you the ability to unmute your microphone too. So that way you could go ahead and interrupt at any time with questions, or if you need clarification on something during this lesson, then we want to make sure that you can do that. So find that question box on your GoToWebinar panel, and that will help you out. Lastly, I am going to make a recording of this program as well, and I'll email it to you a little bit later today. And so if you missed anything or you want to see it again, don't worry, you can replay that video at any time and work through the exercises at your leisure. So that's what we got. Welcome to the North Metro SBDC, Scott. Thanks for being here. And
all right,
it was yours.
All right, so I'll just apologize in advance if I call you guys kids. I don't mean to do that. It's my high school teaching career coming out, and I don't mean to insult anybody. So the first thing that I'm going to do is have you guys have this open. If you have it, this should be your Excel Basics for Business file, and all of the tabs are laid out for you at the bottom. I'm only going to go through kind of the basics. Again, there's so many different other things I can teach you here, but I just want to make sure that everybody has kind of the very basics here figured out. So as far as navigation goes, I'm gonna just do this very quickly. Most of the people, when they're using Excel, are going to use the arrow keys up, down, left, right. I want you to know that you can use the tab key to go forward. Enter will go down. And if you do Shift Tab, it will go left. And Shift Enter will go up. And as you're keying around and you hit your Tab key, you'll again advance. But as soon as you hit Enter at the end of a row, Excel is smart and intuitive. It's going to know where you kind of want to go next. And it will continue that kind of pattern for you, even if you have a couple of empty rows. So I'm just sharing that with you there. You can, if you have information that's already keyed out on a chart or whatever, you can also use the control arrow keys, and they will advance to the end of sections. If your cursor is floating out in the abyss of nowhere, my students love to just use the arrow key and go out into trying to get to infinity. I try to just get it over with and tell them, push the control key down and then the right arrow key, and you'll go all the way to the very, very end, and that shows you all of the columns that you have. XFD is basically like 16,000 rows. It's 16,400, 500, something like that. Then go to the very bottom, control down arrow, and you'll get to the very bottom, 1,048,556. And the grand total would have been like, if you filled every single cell, it would be like over 17 billion, which would be how much money I would have if I just would have put my retirement account into Dogecoin right before all of this happened, and now I'm back being a teacher making a salary again instead of being a multi-billionaire, but oh well. If you want to go back to the top very quickly, you can, scroll back up to the top again, but a quick shortcut key is Control Home, and you'll immediately go back up to cell A1. You're going to notice up here as well, this is the name box. You can put your cursor in there and type in the cell that you want to go to immediately. I'll talk more in detail about how we can use that name box to make formulas very fast and easy. But otherwise, you could just type in A1 there and it will do the same thing. Control End will go to the bottom of wherever you've been doing your typing. This is a Microsoft feature that you can use in Word and PowerPoint as well. Control Home will take you to the top of a document in a Word file or your first slide in PowerPoint, and Control End will take you to the bottom of the document in Microsoft Word or your last slide in PowerPoint.
As we get started here, Amy
Sure.
has a question for you.
Sure, go for it.
She says, what are the different ways that small business owners use Excel? Is this mostly for payroll?
Well, you could use this for payroll. I would encourage you to probably do a QuickBooks lesson because that is more for accounting. You can use Excel for making charts, as you're going to see here in the future. Having visual data to show your boss, hey, here's how sales are going. That's a great way to do that. Also, if you move along here, it's a great way to do sorting and filtering of data, especially if there's lots of information here. And just being able to itemize, here's what I am specifically looking for in this specific situation. That helps you out a lot with just maybe identifying maybe customers or clients or whatever. Even employees if you're trying to track down specific situations. It's a very good question. A lot of this is just basically keeping track of data in a simple way. I hope that answers your question.
Couple more.
Sure.
Desiree wants to know if any of those functions work differently on a Mac.
It shouldn't matter if you're using a PC or a Mac. You just might have to do the open Apple or the control, I can't remember the function key or whatever it might be. You might have to do that instead. But I know the shortcuts are transferable for Mac and PC.
All right. And Jackie wants to know, will you, I can't read today. Will you be showing how to set up Excel to set up a combination of functions?
I can teach that. I am going to show you how to do some basic functions in this, but I just didn't know how advanced everybody was going to be with this. I could have put down, I teach my students how to do the payment function to calculate their mortgage payment, for example. And there is like, this connects to this cell, which connects to that cell, and then it all works out, and then you divide it by 12 to get your monthly payment. I didn't put that in here, but I can show how to kind of basically do that. And I can also show you how to use the naming functions when you name specific cells, how to use that in your formulas. It's an advanced feature, but I don't mind teaching that. When we get to the right place in that, it will probably be here in the wages on the finished tab, or we can also do that in the charts tab. I can show you how to do that at those times.
Great, great.
Good?
All right, we're good.
All right, more just quick navigation parts. As you're typing, again, you can kind of go into the abyss of nowhere, but Excel will let you, if you say you only want to type in this area, if you click and drag your mouse and show that range that you want to keep your mouse in, as you type in and tab or hit enter, it will keep it within that selected range that you want to keep it in. If you click outside of that range, then you're back to basics again. But again, if that's something that's very important to you, you can highlight that range and kind of work within that set area. You can highlight columns and rows by going up to the very top. You're going to see that your cursor is going to change from like a white plus sign to a black down arrow. If you click on that, it's going to highlight the entire column. If you want to select multiple columns, you're going to drag all the way across. You can do the same thing for the numbers on the rows, and that will highlight all of that as well. If you want to highlight within connected groups, what you'll do is you'll highlight a certain section, let go, then you're going to hold down the control key on your keyboard, and then you're going to select the next range and move your cursor down, let go again, hold control, and this again will let you highlight different groups within your worksheet. If you want to select everything, you're going to either do Control A, that highlights all, or you can also, in between the A and the 1, this is the Select All button in Microsoft Excel. Any questions about that stuff? Are we all good there?
So far, it looks like we're all good.
Good, okay. All right, next then, editing, copying, pasting, and moving items. If you want to just type in anything, or you can copy something within my handout. Control C is copy. You can right click with your mouse and copy it that way. And then as you paste, in Microsoft Excel, it's a little bit different than Word or PowerPoint. You're going to see the little marching ants that I call them. Anywhere where you put your cursor, if you do Control V for paste or right click and paste, it's going to allow you to keep pasting that in multiple cells wherever you want. Or if you only need to copy and paste it once, put your cursor somewhere, hit the enter key, it will copy at one time for you. It'll do the same thing with moving. If you want to cut, Control X is cut or right click cut. And again, if you put your cursor somewhere, hit enter, it will move it from one cell to another. Another thing that you can do, you have to be careful with your mouse, but you can pull this off. If you want to move something, you can take your cursor and go to the edge of the cell, and you're going to see that your white plus sign turns into kind of the radial directions there. If you click with your mouse on top of the edge of the cell, you can drag it where you want it to go and let go, and it will go to that location instead. And sometimes moving things around is a lot faster that way if you can get your cursor to go at just the right spot. For basic formatting, fonts, sizes, colors, you probably know all about that. You can select your fonts, your sizes, your colors, your shading. All of that's there on the Home tab in this font area. Alignment will also work in this, and if you want to change it to dollar signs or whatever. When we turn this into a table, which we'll do soon, you can just select pre-made defaults, and it will kind of change all of that for you at that time. It's important to know, as you do this, if you do your borders and shading, for example, when you want to remove it, if you just click with your mouse and you hit the delete key, it's not going to remove the formatting. The delete key on your keyboard is only going to remove anything that's typed inside of it. So in order to get rid of everything or just your formatting, what you're going to want to do is on the Home tab, in the editing section, you're going to see a dry erase right here, and it says clear. There's a down arrow for that. There's clear all, which is the default, but you can also clear the formatting so that you don't get rid of all of your typing that's inside. This is a big time saver. Some people go through and erase it and have to retype it all over again. I don't want you to have to do that. Microsoft Excel is very efficient with your time and your just all of your needs that you have to do for your cells and stuff. So, all right, any questions on that before I move on to the next tab?
No question.
Good. All right, let's go to data entry. All right. So on the data entry tab, what I usually do for my students is I show them what the finished product looks like, and I tell them, I want your file to look like this when you're done. And I show them all of the steps that it takes to get to this part. So I will be flipping back and forth from this to show you where we're at and where we need to be still. I didn't send you guys an import file. Usually they'll give you a text document that you're gonna kind of import it in from. Some people can just copy and paste it. There is a special way that you do it under the data. You're gonna insert it from text. But I'll be honest, most people are, they're just gonna copy and paste it and edit it that way. But when you take your Microsoft certification exam, they do want you to know how to do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change wages, and we're going to merge and center this. We're going to highlight A1 through H1, or is it G1? I think it's G1 actually. Yeah, it is. A1 through G1. And as we have that highlighted, we're going to go up to the merge and center button on the home tab. And you're going to see this is going to put everything where it's supposed to be. It yelled at me because I have import file from text on a different cell. I don't care, I'm gonna erase it because I don't want it anyway. Okay, this is Arial size 14. I'm sure that you guys know how to change your fonts and everything, but I do teach my students how to do it just in case they don't. As we increase the font size of this though, you're going to see that wages is getting kind of cut off. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to increase your row height. So in between 1 and 2, you're going to see your cursor is going to change a little bit. This is going to allow you to increase your row height and make it taller. A very quick fix for this is to just double click on it, and it's going to automatically adjust the row height for you to fit whatever text is inside of there. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a table, and that's going to kind of take care of all of this pre-formatting, so I don't have to highlight everything, change this row to this color. This is a different one with a different font and a different size, so on and so forth. I don't want to have to do all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight from A3 to G7, and I'm going to insert a table. So we're going to go up here to insert. We're going to choose table. Is this where I want my data? Are you sure? Does my table have headers? The headers is important when you want to do sorting and filtering. We'll talk more about that later. But if you already have row headers, make sure you have that box checked. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to give me a pre-default kind of a setting. When you take your certification exam, it's going to ask for a very specific type. In this particular one, it is medium 14 with banded rows. So I would highlight this. I'm going to hit the down arrow so I can see everything. It says medium 14. There's medium 11, 12, 13, 14. If you wait a couple of moments, it'll pop up with a dialog box that tells you exactly which kind it is. I'm going to go ahead and click on medium 14. I do have my 2 pieces here that are yellow. I'm going to teach you a couple of tricks, and I have that on there on purpose. Yours won't have that, but this is my reminder to teach you a couple of tricks. So my first trick I'm gonna get rid of this highlight. Hourly wage is extended for you automatically, but what I want to show you how to do is how to have a line break within a cell. If you hit enter, it's just going to go down to the next row, and you don't want to do that for this particular piece. I want you to go up to your formula bar up here at the top and put your cursor before the W in wage. And now I want you to hold down the Alt key, and I want you to hit the Enter key. And when you do that, you're going to see it's going to do a line break within a cell. Now you can hit the Enter key, and now it's going to put that down to another, it's not a new line, it's not a new row, it's just doing a line break for you, I guess, just to move that out a little bit more. And then if you want, you can change your column width by going in between B and C. You can click and drag it over if you want, or if you want, shortcut is to double click on it, and it will automatically readjust it. Now it is readjusting to Wednesday because that's still within that column and it doesn't want to cut it off. I'm going to do more of this with you guys later. I just want to show you all the little shortcuts that Excel has. I'm going to click and just drag this over a little bit more to hourly wage. I could do this again with gross pay, but again, I don't want to take up too much time doing things that we already know how to do. All right, formatting, hourly wage. This is a money. We're going to change that to currency or accounting. I'm going to go up here to the dollar sign and just push that. If I don't want that, I could do, English pounds or Chinese PRC, so on and so forth. You can also go here to the number format special drop open box. You could choose currency, accounting, and you can change your symbol as well here. They have, you can go to Japanese yen, or I'm sorry, not Japanese yen. That's I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is going to pull out all of the different ones that are here. It's also going to show you alignment if you want to maybe change it to like 45 degrees. And that's cool. Proof I'm a teacher. Font, borders, and filling is also here on this call out. This is going to bring up the full menu if you want to change anything specifically. Usually the shortcut menu is fine. Oh my goodness, why does it show that there's a pound sign here? Or my teenagers will say hashtags. That's because there's not enough space, and we're going to need to extend that out a little bit. So again, drag that out. Go in between the B and the C, extend it out a little bit, and you'll get your numbers back. Hours do not need dollar signs. Gross pay does. I'm going to push the dollar sign on that, even though I don't have any numbers there yet. Tax percentages, that's a percent. This is going to be dollar signs, and so is net pay. So I'm going to just push the accounting button for that as well. Now we're going to get into the formulas. Over in column I, these are all of the different symbols that you're going to use for any kind of formula. Plus is adding, minus is subtraction or the hyphen. The Shift 8 on your keyboard, that is an asterisk, and that is going to be for multiply. Your slash key, which is your question mark without the shift key, that is your division. And then this is for exponents, that's a caret symbol. That's a Shift 6 on your keyboard. So for gross pay, we're going to do a very simple formula. You're going to have your cursor in cell D4, and you're going to do an equal sign to tell Excel, I want to do a formula. You could manually type in 21 times 50, but you already have those keyed in cell or columns B and C. It's a lot easier for you to just click on the cell. So I'm going to click on 21, hourly wage, times, I'm going to click on hours. And it's doing that because when you made this into a table, it's using the column headings that you created as cell references for you. And that's part of the name box that's up here too. I'm gonna hit the enter key and poof, it does it all for you. That's why I love Excel, because it's very intuitive. My taxes, I'm going to take my gross pay and multiply it by my tax percentage equals gross pay times my tax percent, and I'm going to hit enter. There's my taxes. My net pay, I'm going to show you guys how to do a name function here in just a moment, equals gross pay minus your taxes. Hit enter, and that's how much you get to keep. I'm sure all of you business people know that, you know, how these formulas work, and it makes sense. I want to show you how to do a naming function really quick. Before we do that, I'm going to call this cell Caesar Net Pay. So I'm going to put my cursor in cell G4, and it says G4 here, but instead I'm going to change this, and I want to call it something that makes sense to me as a person. So I'm going to call this Caesar Net Pay. No spaces, no special characters. If it does that, it'll yell at you. It'll come up with a dialog box and it'll say, I don't want to do that. Okay. When I hit enter, now I have Caesar Net Pay in the name box. And I'm going to do this with Jason too. So I'm going to go Jason Net Pay. And now that I have a couple of names here, just like it did here with hourly wage times hours, I can also use special functions to compare things. So I'm going to see how much more Caesar made over Jason. So I'm going to do equals. I'm going to start typing in Caesar, and you're going to see that that name pops up now. I'm going to click on that, minus, and I'm going to start typing in Jason. There it is. And I'm going to double click on that and bring that up. Caesar Net Pay minus Jason Net Pay is a lot easier to remember than equals G4 minus G5. And again, this is why Excel is a very powerful tool for you business owners out there. This can really help you with your formulas, so you bring meaning and life to them instead of just arbitrary cell references. Okay, so now I know that Caesar makes $475 more than Jason does.
Scott, quick question from...
Yeah, go for it. I was about to say, I'm sure there's questions.
A moment ago, Anna Maria asked if it's auto-filling because it's a table.
Yes. That's the quick answer. Yes, it is auto-filling because it is a table. If you did not have a table created, then you would have to use where I mean, it's a great segue to what I was about to teach you. This part down below, I'm going to show you what the autofill button is. But I'll go back to questions first before I go to that piece.
All right, folks, if anybody else has any other questions, type them in. Amy has a comment. She says, wow, this saves so much time.
Yes. Yes, it does. This is a huge time saver. And that's another reason why you want to use tables. It makes it a lot faster for you. And all you have to do is just remember, every time you want to do a formula in Excel, use the equal sign first.
Very good.
You good?
Amy says, I'm a sole proprietor, so I do not have any employees. However, I'm brainstorming how this could help me with taxes or something.
Yes. You'll have a list of expenses. We can change all of that Caesar, Jason, Xander, Apple, and we can turn that into, I'll pull up an old file here. So I have budget template file. This is what I teach my students at the very end of a unit. I teach my students how to move out of their house. So I'm going to get rid of my meme of the day here. You can see here are all my bills. Mortgage, home insurance, electricity, water, so on and so forth, car payments, personal expenses, and lots of tabs down below, which I'm not going to go into great detail with. But you see, again, you have lots of different pieces here that you can use Excel for, just even for your own personal finance.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Autofill button. You are going to love the autofill button. It is the square dot in the bottom right corner of your cell. And it's going to change from a white plus sign to a black plus sign. And when you use that, you're going to click and drag down or across, depending upon if these formulas need to go across or other pieces of information that Excel will intuitively autofill for you based on what's there. So I have in here these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to just erase these and I'm going to recreate this very quickly. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to highlight 1 through 3. Excel knows that there's a pattern now. I'm going to click on that autofill button and I'm going to drag it down until I'm happy and let go. And it's going to automatically fill all of that for you. It senses patterns and it knows what you want to do. And it also has custom lists, which we're going to talk about later when we do sorting and filtering. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Again, it knows what you want. Monday, Tuesday, and I'm going to use the autofill button and drag it through. June, July, August, 12, 17, 22, 27. It will notice patterns, okay? So I'm going to have a simple formula, 12, and then equals this cell plus 5, okay? Very simple formula. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to drag it down. Oh, did I goof up? I think I did, yeah. I think I should have just typed it in. 12, 17, 22. It knows that it's a pattern of 5. It will also figure out people's names. You know, so I had Caesar, Jason, and so on. I'll pick on my students in class. I'm like, hey, yell out your name, you know, so here's Caesar, here's Jason, here's Xander, and Apple. And it will continue that pattern over and over again, all the way through, you know, row 1,085,000, whatever, if you want it to. You can also do interesting formulas with dates, which doesn't, you know, you wouldn't think about that intuitively, but it's a really interesting thing. So let's do a date, 5/26, 2022, 25. Yeah, we'll go into the future. And I want to know what date will it be 100 days after that, or maybe 90 days after that. So so all of you real estate agents, you know, we have 90 days to close, okay? So here's the date that we start this process. Let's add 90 days to that. Here's our closing date. There you go. It's already filled it out for you. So it can take dates and even do some modifications there as well within the formulas. How's everybody feeling on that tab?
Sarah wants to know, will there be a recording? Yes. Yes,
this
we will.
is
Sarah,
already
we're recording this whole thing, and we will email it to you. And
this
Amy,
is a lot to do in one day.
it is, for sure. That's what Amy writes. She says, that is amazing and terrifying at the same time, LOL.
Yes. All right. On to charts if there's no more questions or comments. We're good?
I think we're
All right. So on the chart data division tab, we are going to create 3 different charts. Okay. Chart number 1, we are going to create a quarterly report. I am not going to take the time to go through all of these different pieces here. I just want to show you how to create a chart, do some very quick formatting, but I don't want to get bogged down with this. This is more for you to play with on your own time. A separate chart which uses 2 different sets of data that are not touching each other. And then we'll do a quick pie chart here where I show you how to explode a pie slice. These are grid lines, or not grid lines, I'm sorry. These are, what is the right word here? Insert chart, they are spark lines, that's the right word. And I might show you guys, if you guys have a need for this, some extra special formulas. The count, if, and concatenate in particular are very useful for a lot of people. All right, so first, I'm gonna show you how to create a chart using all of the information. I am not going to include my totals because you'll see a common mistake. If you do that, quarters 1 through 4 equals your totals. And if you include that, it messes up your chart. So what you want to do is select A5 division through quarter 4. That's Great Britain, 2,900,000. And we are going to create a chart. There is a quick and dirty key that I use. The F11 key on your keyboard is your instant create a chart right now key. So if you push the F11 key, you're going to pop up with a generic column chart. And it's going to create for you a new worksheet tab at the bottom, and it's probably going to call it chart 1. Everybody good with that?
How would you do that if you didn't have an F11, like on a
So
small?
if you don't have that, then you're going to go to back here. You're going to go over here to insert and then charts. We're going to do this, you know, together as a group anyway with the next one. You're going to push the see all charts button, or if you want, you can just click on the 2D column chart and choose one of those. I'm choosing not to do that because I want to have it on a new worksheet tab, but I am going to teach you guys how to move a chart. You can also click on the see all charts button. This is going to bring up the full menu. I'm going to go to all charts, and this is where I usually let my high school students look at everything and play and everything. And again, I know you know how to play already. So we have this. Oops, where are we at? Where did chart 1 go? There we go. We have chart 1. I'm going to change this chart by clicking on this, and I want to make this into a 3D chart. Well, we already have it made. I don't want to have to delete it and remake a new chart here. So I'm going to go over here to format. I lied. I'm going to go over here to design. That's the right place to go. And I'm going to push the button that says change chart type. And here you're going to get back into that menu where we just were. I'm going to click on all charts. I'm going to do a 3D clustered column chart. And I personally, I don't care which one you want to use here. You can have quarter 1 through 4, or you can have Australia, Germany. It doesn't matter because I'm going to show you how to flip them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. There's my chart. If I don't want the countries listed and instead I want the quarters, I'm going to choose instead switch row column. And you're going to see it flip. So again, it's just a matter of what do you want to look at. That's the perspective that you're going to show your boss or an investor or whoever. For your chart title, you can click on there and begin typing it in, but you already have your chart title. It's already here on your divisions. This is Books and Beyond Quarterly Sales Report. This is your title. I'm going to have you guys steal that. Where did I go? Chart 1 again. Okay. By instead of typing it in, we're going to click on the chart title and we're going to go up here to the formula bar and you're going to type in an equal sign. Now go back to your data and I want you to highlight your two headings, your title and your subtitle. You're going to see equals chart title division A1 through A2. Hit the enter key. There's your title. I don't want to do any extra typing if I don't have to. Finally, all of these pieces that are here are changeable. You can edit them how you wish. If you select one of your column bars, you'll see all four get selected. If you only want to select one, let's say, I think this is Germany. Germany did really well in Q4. Maybe I want to highlight that in some specific way. I click on it once, I wait a second, I click on it again. Now I have just that selected. And if I want to, I can highlight that by maybe changing the color or some other piece. So I'm going to go down here to where I'm going to right click on top of it. And I'm going to say format data point. And again, you can move this around, change the color, make it maybe a solid fill color, and I'm going to change it to red just to make it stand out more. Or maybe you want to do a gradient fill. And when you do that, you're going to have different color stops. And you can add or remove these as you wish. So maybe I only want 3. I'm going to click on one of these and get rid of them. And then I'm going to move it in the middle. And maybe I want a gradual color change. So this is color 1. Color 1, maybe I make red. And then I choose the second one and maybe I make that brown. And then the end color, maybe I want that, I don't know, yellow. Okay, so it has that gradient effect as it kind of goes up or down on the. There are other ones too. You can do pattern fills. You can do pictures. You'll have to find a picture online and use that. I don't know. I usually just steal them off of the internet, I'll be honest with you, just for my high school students. And I'll be like, find a picture of a sunset or find a picture of a teardrop or whatever. And then download it, and then you find the file and it will fill that in with the picture that you found that you're going to load. And then again, you can do this to the back wall. If you look at the quarterly report, I have a sunset picture in the background there in the back wall area. And you can fill that color in there. You can fill in the chart area, change, as you wish. This is a lot of playing and a little bit of artistic flair or whatever. I'll be honest though, most business owners, they want it simple. It looks good the way it is. We don't need to really do anything special with it. But it is kind of cool if you have a company logo, you can put that in the back wall. It makes your products stand out a little bit more and impresses your boss if you have one, if you're not the boss yourself. Ooh, look, my employee knows how to do Excel stuff. Neat. And it's not that, difficult to do, but it impresses the boss if they don't know what they're doing.
Scott, Jackie has a question.
Sure.
About how you were copying from one tab to another. She says,
yes.
How can you make the formula result into a number in order to copy it to another spreadsheet? For example, equals sum A1 through A5, say the result is 5, and I want to copy number 5 to another sheet.
What you would do then is, I'm going to pull up a new document and have them both open at the same time. It's important to have your documents together. I'm going to go back to navigation and do it here so that you know where the files are linked. Now you can, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft period, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you can link a spreadsheet in Excel into a PowerPoint file. And whatever you have edited in Excel, it will carry that, let's say we're doing a chart, it will carry that over to PowerPoint. If you want to do just the numbers and you don't want it to link between files, what you would do for that, so let's say I got a formula here, equals 33 plus 88, 98, whatever. If I want to copy that from one worksheet to another, or from a file to another, you'll do copy. You'll go over here to your new worksheet and you're going to do paste special. Right click, paste special. I'm going to choose the full list because if you click on the wrong one, you're like, oh no, I messed up. And what I would recommend that you do is you do values so that you're not linking the formula from one to another. You can, it just depends upon what your need is. If you need the formula to copy, copy the formula. But if you just need the number, like the question asked, I would say just do it as a value. And then I'm going to hit OK. And that number went from one file to another. You can do the same thing from different worksheets too. Okay, we good?
Looks good.
All right. We're going to go to our next chart. This will be a lot faster. I'm just going to delete this for my own, just because it's cluttering everything down here. We're going to do Q1 and Q4. So in this, it doesn't connect. What I want to do is select division and get our data labels listed. So I'm going to start from A5 to A9. I'm going to let go of my keyboard and my mouse. Now I'm going to hold the control key down. Oh, wait, I screwed up. I'm sorry. I want Q1 and Q4. Q1 touches division, so I want to highlight A1 through B9. If you do it separately, Microsoft Excel might make a weird glitch or something when we make our chart. So we let go. I'm holding down control. I'm going to highlight E5 to E9. And I'm going to create a new chart. I'm going to go insert this time. I'm going to go to the charts menu, see all charts. I'm going to go to all charts. I'm going to choose a 3D clustered column chart. And you'll see that it's coming up very well here. It's there together. You'll notice that if you made a wrong selection, maybe you forgot division, maybe you forgot to get Great Britain in there, whatever that might be, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 down there instead of your data labels. Okay, I'm going to hit the OK button. And I have it. I don't want it here. I want it on a new sheet, a worksheet tab. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to Move Chart. And I want it as a new sheet. And I called it Q1, Q4 comparison. Let's just call it, for simple sake, Q1, Q4. And then hit OK. You're going to get a new worksheet tab, Q1, Q4. There's your chart. Okay. Good.
Looks good.
Okay. Then the last one that we're going to do is a pie chart. And I'm going to show you how to explode this pie slice. And then if there is a need for this, I can show you how to do grid lines and some extra formulas here. So the last piece here, we have division A5 through A9. Let go. We're going to do totals for pie slices. So we're going to hold down Control F5 through F9. And now we're going to insert a pie chart. I'm going to just do the quick and dirty one here. We're going to do a down arrow here, choose a 3D pie slice. There we go. I'm going to move this underneath it. It's just like a picture. They have different chart styles that are up here already for you. There are ways you can right click and change which ones that you want, but it's usually easier if you just choose a style that you want it to look like. I'm going to choose style 3 because it has percentages. And then if I want to explode this pie slice, I'm going to click on the pie slice once. You're going to see all of the pie slices are selected. I'm going to wait a second, click on the pie slice again because Germany did the best job at 30%. Now just Germany is selected. I'm going to grab that and just drag it away from the rest of the pie chart. And you're going to see it pulls away. And there are other things here, but we're already over the 45 minutes and I'm trying to get us to sort and filter.
We're doing
there?
Looks good. I don't know why Germany's winning in all these slides though, Scott.
It's just the numbers. I mean, we can make Australia win if we want to fudge our numbers and, you know, maybe Australia made 5 million. Okay. Oh, we still need them to have a little bit more, maybe 6 million. You'll see that your charts automatically update too when you change your numbers here. I'm going to push Germany back in and make Australia win. Are we good with that?
Looks good, no questions.
All right, sorting and filtering data. I'm going to try to do this very fast, and this is almost like another lesson all in and of its own. But I'm going to try to do a few of these very quickly with you just to finish out the hour. On the payroll tab, you're going to see we have 90-something employees with our company. And what I want to do here is just organize these. Maybe we have a bunch of information and num in column A, maybe this is their employee ID number. But if I want to find out, you know, I don't know them by their employee ID number, I want to find them by their first and last name. That's a very common thing to search for, okay? What I want to do instead is I'm going to sort this. You can go over here to the home tab, or if you want data, it's the same buttons that you can push here. Here's sort and filter. I'm going to sort it by A to Z from first name. Now I have them all sorted. Notice it did all of that cutting and pasting for you immediately. Very, very handy in Excel. I can do the same thing for last name, sort A to Z. Okay, here's my Abels, there's Alan, we have the Binga sisters, and so on and so forth. What we don't have though, if I want to sort them, let's say I have a huge client list. If I want to sort them by last name and then by first name, right now I have Aaron, Frida, Terry. By sheer luck and coincidence, it works out that way. But if I want to do them as a combined sort, what I'm going to do instead is anywhere down in your list, you're going to go up here to sort and filter, and you're going to do a custom sort. And what I want to do is I want to sort it by last name A to Z, and then I'm going to do add a level, and I'm going to sort it by first name. And then I'm going to hit OK. So now, I mean, just because we did it that order, first name, then last name, it worked out just by luck. But now I am certain, here's the Abels, and then by Abel last name, here we have our first name, Colleen, James, Karina, William, the Binga sisters, Aaron, Frida, Terry, and so on and so forth. Now we know that this sort is correct. You can do other very quick sorts. If you go to sort filter again here, I'm going to do a custom sort. I'm going to delete the one level here. I'm going to sort by, oh, I got to think about this. I think I need to actually do this through the data tab. I don't think I can do it through this way. Yeah, I'm going to think about this a different way. Hold on. We're going to go through the data tab. I want to do this through gross pay. I might have to use the filter function for this. Yes, I do. I do have to do it that way. Okay. Sorry about that. You want to push your filter button on. And now you're going to get your down arrows for this. And now here's where the sorting that I want to do here. I want to see who made more than, yeah, that's why, because it's a filter function. I want to know who made more than, let's say $500 a month. So I'm going to go to gross pay. I'm going to go to number filters. And I'm going to choose greater than or greater than and equal to, depending upon what you want. I want it to be more than $500. And I'm just going to type that in. And I'm going to hit OK. And now anybody that makes less than that number, they have been filtered and removed from the list. If you want to get all of your information back again, you're just going to remove that filter. You can do these in multiple different columns, by the way. Maybe I want to do a who made more than all of that, but they're also from Canada. So I'm going to choose that drop-down list. I'm going to get rid of Australia, Germany, and Great Britain. And now I'm going to find out who makes more than $500 a month and they're from Canada. Okay. And there are some special ones that you can do too. You can even do a really advanced one where you type in a special row here, I want all of these parameters, but then you're almost getting to the point where maybe you want to start using Python as a programming language, because now you're really asking Excel to do a lot of very specific parameters. And in that case, you could crash Microsoft Excel if it's a lot of data and you have very specific parameters that you want to do and it's like 5 or 6 or 7 deep. Then you're really fighting with your computer and its resources.
Scott, Jackie has a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
She says, so you don't have to highlight the cells in order to sort? When would highlight be needed?
Nope. That's what's wonderful about that. If it's a single column, I'm going to click on the filter button just to get all my data back. Wherever your cursor is at, it's keeping these column headings in its mind. And if you have your cursor in a specific column, it will sort it in that row wherever your cursor is located. So if I want to do number or my hours that my employees worked, I'm going to sort A to Z. Here's the least to most, and it will automatically do it based on that. If it's multiple tiers, like we did last name, then first name, then you're going to click on the sort button, and that's where you're going to add your levels. And as you can see, it's highlighted everything for you. It knows that all of this information is connected, and it will sort it for you.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yes. Beautiful, wonderful time saver.
Well, folks, we're coming right up on the 1 hour mark, and I do want to respect everyone's time. So we'll stay on for a few minutes if you have, Scott, to answer some questions. And when I send out the video by email, please feel free to hit us back with any comments or suggestions. We could do a part 2 of this training sometime too, if folks wanted to revisit any of these topics. I see Wesley says, when I hit save, to save my Excel data. There are many different types of Excel file to save it under. It's confusing. Excel template, Excel workbook, etc. What do I choose?
So all of those different types are, there are different types that you will use when you want it to connect maybe to other softwares. When I have done exports before for, let's say for yearbook, and I have all of my students listed and how much, how many yearbooks did they buy? What is their student ID number? All of that kind of stuff. And then I want to take that information and import it into an Excel file. They may have a very specific file. Usually that is a, I'm just going to dump it somewhere. It's a CSV file. Sometimes it's a PDF, but I would say a CSV is like a column. I can't remember the acronym, but it's a very basic, almost like a notepad file that just has it tabbed over. Sometimes it's text. When you start using macros, which that's a whole different class, you want to enable the macros so that you can push a button or you can push a key on your keyboard and it automatically does these commands for you. Each one of these, it just depends upon how does your customer want this done. Most settings, you just want this to be as a Microsoft Excel workbook. A template is, you're going to have the basically the skeleton on the outside, but you want an employee to key in information that's missing. And in that's where I'd have to get more involved with, you want to lock your worksheets down because you don't want your employees erasing all of your column headings or your row headings or anything else like that. You just want them to key in the information. But that, again, that will take a little bit more time to do and explain how that all works out. But that's when you want more security with your documents and you want to make sure that your employees aren't screwing up the hard work that you put in with your worksheet tabs and so on and so forth.
Great. Jackie wants to know, can we learn macros, please? That's probably
another class. Yeah.
Class.
Yeah. Macros are wonderful time savers, but if you're not careful, you can crash Microsoft Excel very easily. If you don't tell Microsoft Excel, you want to start here and go through all of these pieces and end. If you forget to end it, it will still think that it's continuing calculations or whatever, and you can hurt your computer. So you want to be careful with that, and that's a different lesson.
But Jackie, thank you for that suggestion. It's good to see you, by the way. And maybe we'll put together, macros basics in the future.
I wouldn't say that's basic. You really have to know what you're doing in Microsoft Excel to play around with that. So that's more for advanced learners.
Very good. Very good. Any other questions, folks? Well, if I see any more, then I'll interrupt myself. But otherwise, Scott, I want to say thank you again for your lesson and for putting this together today. Desiree says, helpful tips. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Thanks, Desiree. And Karami as well says, thanks, Scott. So really glad that this was helpful. And what we're going to do is, like I said, we'll mail out the video today, and I'm going to make sure to put contact information for Scott in this email. And Scott, you have an offer for the businesses, is that true?
Yes. So I am teaching entrepreneurship, marketing, and things like that. I know how to do it. I have all the book knowledge and I've watched plenty of master classes and many other things like that. But as a teacher, I really like to have practical knowledge that I want to pass on to my students. I don't want to teach just out of a book. I want to teach them real life situations. So if your company needs any kind of assistance with that, I would love to have sort of a trade-off with you. I have a lot of experience working with all kinds of different business stuff, but I don't actually have the hands-on learning that I would like to pass on to my high school students. So if there's times where you want help, maybe over the summer, I would love to come into your company, help out with whatever, and then just ask around, kind of like an internship for me, I guess, and just get that practical application so that I can pass that learning on to my high school students. In addition to that, my high school is doing a business pathway program. We're in the development of expanding this out, and we're also interested in finding business partners that are interested in maybe having a high school student do some job shadowing, internships, and stuff like that too. So if you're interested in either of these offers, just contact me and let me know that. And I'm happy again to give you this information just one-on-one so we don't have to, share that in the videos. So
Really good, really good. Great opportunity for small businesses out there, and also a way to help help some young folks get their start in business
yeah,
as well.
I want to kind of connect the community as best as I can. I see that as a missing piece, and it bothers me as a teacher. So.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for your time. Thanks for tuning in. Check in at northmetrosbdc.com for more programming like this coming up soon, including on Thursday at the same time slot, 11 o'clock. Scott's going to be back showing us some basics of video editing using the Adobe Premiere. And so lots of useful tools. And Scott, once again, thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait to see you on Thursday.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for coming.